What's happening, fandoms? Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here,
we react to music videos and shows.
And sometimes Easter eggs and breakdowns, like we're going to do today with the new Rockstars She-Hulk episode 6 breakdown. We're going to get Jessica Clemens. Once again, she's taken this whole series straight through. She's going to give us all the things we missed. And there are going to be plenty of them, I'm sure. Let's dive into it.
Rockstars, I'm Jessica Clemens, here to break down episode 6 of She-Hulk for you. I almost forgot how to do 6, I almost did 7. This episode started a little slowly, but it was a wedding episode and pointed me in the direction of a fast wedding. But I thought. Either way, the mid to end scene gave us a ton of theories as to who the Hulk King is. The intelligentsia is here and worse than ever. And also, these folks may not be Skrulls, but they may be plants. I get my voice kit. We'll get into it and I'll point out some stuff I noticed. So let's get it on. Get it on. We open to a shot of a pink box glittered with Jen's name. It's framed with blue thistle flowers and pink thistle flowers. The contrast between the box and the tealish green box reading flowers brings you back to Titanium She-Hulk's last episode, doesn't it? Now, I've been a bridesmaid a couple of times, and yes, the boxes do get more and more extravagant as you get older. Inside the bridesmaids box is a team of bride sash, succulents, heart-shaped glasses, bath bomb, lots of bride tribe junk, a letter saying, duh, of course you will, to being a bridesmaid, not even a please. Also, glitter is everywhere. Not even a Dyson could clean that up. As Shulky is packing, nicknamed by Nikki, not by me, Nikki assists. On Jen's bookshelf, we see a Lonely Planets book for traveling to Mexico, which she could have had before or after being in the lab with Bruce in Mexico. We learned this is all for the family friend Lulu, who is getting married, which Ched is also DJing. Ched is just a jack of all trades, I guess, like me. Jen also mentioned previously not talking to Lulu anymore, but maybe Lulu felt obligated to ask her to be a bridesmaid, which is kind of fishy. Jen begins talking to us, the audience, summarizing the theme of the episode like we saw in episode 1 and 3, with almost 3 minutes into the episode as well. There's no specific time that's best to break the fourth wall, but scenes where you want to feel intimate with the viewers are always a good place to start. So in this case, just making sure we're all on the same page, and this is a self-contained wedding episode. As soon as Jen steps out of the car, we hear the vibes playing by Sapphire. Such a bop about switching up your vibes and flaunting that new money, baby. In this case, it's Jen's wardrobe and her confidence. This tiny barn is going to be home to what is going to be Lulu's wedding. And if you don't know who Lulu is, this is Patty Harrison, one of the funniest comedians I've ever seen. This show has a great ensemble of comedic writers, so not surprised they grabbed some great LA improvisers like these folks. Lulu could be based off Louise Grant in the comics, who after retiring as a vigilante, aka Blonde Phantom, worked alongside She-Hulk and Blake Tower, where they became best friends. Though they don't share the same name, there could be a similar energy with the character, sort of how people think Nikki to be Jill Stevens, Jen's best friend in the comic who died. We meet their friends. Blondie, aka Heather, is played by Mackenzie Kurtz, and the other one on the left is played by Abigail as Mina. Let me tell you, these are some mean girls, just like the movie, and it fits perfectly because the wedding's on Thursday, it's a Wednesday, and they're all rocking pink. They also mentioned this toned up for the big day workout plan, which we didn't see in the invitation box, and also just seems really weird to send your bridesmaids. Lulu pulls Jen aside to chastise her for arriving as She-Hulk and taking the attention away from her. But in reality, I think Lulu and this wedding may be a big plan to help grab Jen's DNA or blood sample. Hear me out. There's a ton of red flags, you guys. 1, she wants Jen out of She-Hulk form, which is pretty vulnerable. 2, she invited Jen to her wedding and they haven't spoken in years. Even Jen was a little skeptical. Also, who's the damn groom? Where is Adam? 3rd, I'm sorry, but there's no food at this wedding. The vibes are a little off at this venue and I think we can all feel it. 4, Josh is, as Whitney says in our recent Rogue Theory, a Barney Stinson. It's too much, it's too easy, and it's like, what a coincidence for him. Number 5, side note, when Lulu asked Jen if she's dating anyone, this could have been information she needed to pass to Josh to further whatever dastardly plan they have. I may be completely wrong, I might be theorizing too hard, but I just think we should keep an eye out because this wedding is very weird. Our new title card this week says, just Jen, attorney at law, and I love it. More clashing between her and She-Hulk, but this time it's like every bit of confidence boost that She-Hulk needs. You know, it's like she takes 1 step forward and 2 steps back. Oh, I'm just here for it sometimes. We're on to our B story, that is Mallory working with our new client, Mr. Hollis, aka Mr. Immortal, played by David Pasquazi. You might have seen him from Book of Boba Fett. So Mr. Immortal is one of the saddest heroes because he is cursed cursed with the power of immortality, which you can imagine is probably horrible. Every Twilight character had a horrible life. I'll give you a little bit about Mr. Immortal, aka Craig Hollis from the comics. He was first introduced in the 80s in West Coast Avengers. In the 2005 Dan Slott run, we learned since he was little, Death Urge was a part of his life. He's basically like the Grim Reaper. Death Urge was around, usually in bad light, to take people away from Craig in his life, like Craig's dad during the fire that he started, and his first love who committed suicide. Craig had tried even taking his own life many and many times, even pleading Death Urge to take him, but he refused. Once he aimed to become a superhero with his powers, he found his calling. He also found a team, one being the Lightning Rods, which were made to mimic the Thunderbolts, and once they found out the Thunderbolts were actually the Masters of Evil, they sided with S.H.I.E.L.D. to stop them. Mr. Immortal can have a lot of little ties to our MCU storylines, but this Mr. Immortal looks like it's taking a different route. But I wouldn't shy away from Mr. Immortal in the comics. His backstory is very grim, yes, but it's an interesting read, and I actually really enjoy it, so you should check it out. So we see why Mr. Immortal is there. He's been trying to divorce his spouses, but we see he's been dying and resurrecting himself later. I know what you're thinking. Can you get out of a marriage if you die and then come back to life? Technically, yeah, you can. In the eyes of the law, a missing person is presumed dead if they're missing for 7 years or more. And the fact that marriages end at death of a spouse, according to the California Family Code, the marriage is void if it's generally believed that the former spouse is a dead person. So Hollis checks both those boxes. But what makes this an unwinnable case is the intent knowing he can come back to life at any moment. Also, I just have to mention, he walked into traffic to get out of talking about his divorce, and in the comics, Death Urge got him to do that as a child. The men on this show. Also,
I'm a good guy.
If you say you're a good guy, chances are you're not a good guy, Mr. Immortal. Once Mr. Immortal jumps out the window and lands onto a Hickman security service vehicle, this is for Kyle Hickman, the art department coordinator. There's also a QR code. When you scan it, it takes you to the Marvel site to a free comic of the West Coast Avengers number 46. We find out that not only is Twilight canon in the MCU, but Lulu has dated both Taylor Lautner and Robert Pattinson, which truly will piss me off if it's true. If you're watching this and you were born in 2006 or later, you probably missed the war that was Team Jacob and Team Edward, and I think we all know where I stand. I'm Team Jacob. Sad thing is, I took this photo like 2 years ago, but it still holds up. Either way, guess who makes an entrance to the wedding party? It's Titania. She's also sporting the loudest outfit possible with boss earrings, so I can't even be completely mad. We meet Josh, played by Trevor Salter, and I really want to like Josh, you guys. I really do. I really want everything for Jen to be good, but like this is just too good to be true right now. The next day, we're introduced to each of Mr. Immortal's former spouses. Only a few of them are credited. His ex-wife, 1, 2, 3, and 4 are played by Heidi Rue, Luciana Scarano, Bree Shannon, Tawanda Winston, and the ex-husband number 1 played by Gregory Nassif St. John. And one of them brings up a video of the death stunt on the Intelligentsia website. Now, the Intelligentsia in the comics are first seen in Fall of Hulk, Alpha number 1, and was a supervillain organization led at one point by the leader, then by MODOK. They originally set their sights on amassing all knowledge and intel, but later when they disbanded and got back together, MODOK led them to defeat Hulk and try taking over the world. We could see one, if not both characters soon, since we can expect to see MODOK and Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania and the leader in the New World Order. But this series is setting the Intelligentsia as a website, the one for hateful man babies. We also got a shot of Nikki's notes regarding the case, where she wrote things like child support, probably in regards to Spencer Jr., and Arnie in quotes next to New Orleans Jazz Fest, she needs those pics. Amy, who is married to Roger, so clearly this man was given fake names, fake identity, fake deaths. This man surely can't win. I just can't allow it. It's the day of the wedding. We're back at the small barn. It could be me, but I think these dresses are ugly. This is a breakdown video, so I have to break down everything, you guys, including this wretched scene where they have Jen doing the groomsmen laundry because they are playing Mario Kart on their Switch. What Heather is trying to get at is esports. It's basically professional gaming with those giant tournaments, home to ones like Overwatch, League of Legends. The Valorant ones are my favorite. This was actually my first gig when I moved to LA, was working for a giant league tournament, and it was really wild. Also, I don't care whose wedding it is. I'll walk with that damn dog. He is so cute, even if he's leaking and half alive. But that's the animal lover in me. The petty bridesmaid would smack the bride up. Also, I haven't found anything about Jonathan the dog in the comics, but there is a Jonathan the Wolverine from Marvel Comics that's really fun. He's like a giant bear. Also, additionally, if you haven't, our great partners over at the Epic Hero Shop just released their Green Justice merch line inspired by She-Hulk. It's got several different t-shirt designs, including the newest limited edition, latest Obsession shirt, Lady Justice. They're also dropping lines inspired by the House of Dragon, Andor, and Rings of Power. When you purchase one of these shirts, you get the opportunity to get a shout out from Voss, MT, or I on Inside Marvel. That's pretty swell. It's a pretty swell thing. Just make sure it's appropriate. Okay, let's get back to the breakdown. When they're trying to come to an agreement with his former spouses, he mentions his share in Apple in 1981, which would be a ton of money by now. He also mentions all the gold left to him by his first wife, Baroness Cromwell, who has to be Elizabeth Seymour, who was King Henry's third wife, Jane Seymour sister. So it's safe to assume this dude was posing as another man who could have been John Paulette, Baroness Cromwell's third husband. Thank you, Six the Musical. Or it could be in Marvel Comics, the person also known as Lily Cromwell, aka Baroness Blood. Since we're getting into more spooky stuff in the MCU, I'm fine with either characters. I love history and I love spooky. Clearly, none of this works because one wife has a child with him, married to him for 3 years, while one was married to him for 18 years. So rightfully, they start to argue about the length of their relationship mirroring the rate that they should each acquire. And Mr. Immortal can't jump out a window for this one, baby. We're back to the wedding where Chet is dressed like Johnny Depp's Willy Wonka, the inferior one. His shirt and record box. Wait a minute, quickly, don't you fight me on this because the squirrels was too stupid.
Squirrels.
Yeah, squirrels. Anyways, his shirt and record box match his stage name, DJ Incredible Hulk. And let me tell you, if I became a Hulk, I can name at least 12 people in my family that would try making money off me. Jen decides to drink herself happy in a classic wedding bop, Annie Lennox's Walking on Broken Glass. Yes, it's a wedding bop, but also the music video is the scene for also another wedding. Not quite the same wedding, but the same start to drink and let loose kind of wedding. Also, the support from Chet in the background is chef kiss. While Jen is dancing it up, Nikki's being the best paralegal, divvying up the money for Mr. Immortal's former spouses. Let's get into a little bit of it because I just like drama. Sebastian is reimbursed for the Lake Lawn Mausoleum. This is a New Orleans funeral home, so it makes sense that why it was a jazz funeral, basically. Taylor gets 2 years back pay for quitting her job to help Paul run a rare jade shop, Green, wink wink, in Piedmont, which I assume is in California.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Dashel. Dashel confirmed. Cheryl, the mama, just getting straight money, baby. And Amy gets a sincere apology and meaningful eye contact lasting at least 15, now 20 seconds, which seems like what she wanted, so kudos. Nikki did a damn good job. And peep her pin, it's the flag to the Philippines. I love it. Nikki and Ginger Gonzaga represent, baby. Jen is leaving a voicemail for Bruce. She's trying to get a hold of him. It's been weeks, months, days. She doesn't even know anymore. He's just been off world for that long. Now, I'm no mathematician. I had to go to a lot of my friends for this, but I'm gonna try breaking down how long it's gonna take him to get to Sakaar and make sure he's not actually still on the ship. So Earth's in the Milky Way and Sakaar is allegedly part of the Fornax dwarf galaxy. So that's 450,000 light years away from us. If the speed of light is 186,000 miles per second, you want to turn those seconds into years. You multiply 186,000 by 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, 24 hours in a day, 365 days in a year, giving upwards of like 5.9 trillion miles a year. If we were on a shuttle going 5 miles per hour, it would take 37,200 human years to travel just that one light year. So we're gonna times that by 450,000. That's over 1 trillion years. But that's just human distance. But we know in Guardians of the Galaxy with jumping and going through wormholes, they can travel 183 light years per second. So divide that by 450,000, then divide that by 60 seconds. We're a little over 40 minutes to travel to Sakaar. So he's kind of just hanging out and not answering his phone. Also, I don't know if that's completely correct, but I went to 5 different people. We get our second fight between Titania and Jen, but this time it's personal. And Jen is drunk. Let's remember that in episode 2, when She-Hulk changes to Jen, it's a different metabolism, so Jen can still get super drunk. During the fight, Titania asks if Jen is not going to turn, which I mentioned before, but reminds me of my favorite fights in the comics between the two, where they're sort of sparring like fights. It's all just personal, just a nemesis and a hero, 1v1. This is giving the exact same vibe. Jen stomps her foot and makes ripples in the ground, throwing Titania, and it's sort of like the ground pound done in episode 1, as the supportive cousin plays Electric Boogie by Marcia Griffiths. That
got a wedding fight.
It's electric. I don't think I can sing anymore or we get in trouble. Yet another wedding bop. Not necessarily a fighting one, but I'll allow it. Titania literally eats shit. She literally falls on the ground and everyone gasps in unison. And I remember during this scene, I went, oh, her teeth, her veneers. And if you don't know what veneers are, they're literally what every influencer in Hollywood gets. So it makes sense that Titania would have them by now. As Titania leaves, Chet honks this horn.
Love it.
And what DJ has a horn? When Lulu sees Jen as She-Hulk, I can't tell if she's drunk, playing it off that it's okay. This is one of the many faces Patty Harrison has, and I can't read her, but this is why I love her so much. We finally see the Intelligentsia website, We Are the Web, and let me tell you, it's bleh. We see the trending videos, top 10 best travel destinations. The thumbnail features Cookeville, Tennessee. My family's from Memphis, Tennessee, and when I called my mom and asked her about Cookeville, she said, yeah, I'm not surprised it's featured on a website like that. So there you go. But also in 19 1999, Cookville was bombed, causing a Nexus event in Loki episode 2. So I think that's more important than my mom's note. 24-hour loop of countryside driving. Why would anyone want that? Slutty She-Hulk. And we're recreating famous artwork. That one sounds fun. The video front center is Mr. Immortal jumping out of the window onto the security car titled Weird Rubber Guy Falls Off Building and Lives. Had to be taken by that biker dude from this angle. Also, Mallory and Nikki are chumming it up, drinking 1800 silver tequila and blatant single barrel bourbon. Okay. And also, I just love this broken window behind them that's fixed with wood. We also find out Mallory's married with a child. She doesn't have children or a husband in the comics, so this is new, and we can theorize who it might be all day long, but not now. I don't have that much time.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
When you try and click on another video, you need to be a member of the website. You must get Hulk King's approval. It also gives us the
She-Hulk. Hulk King? Wait, what the hell?
The sound that's like the one from Jurassic Park that Samuel L. Jackson can't bypass the hacker.
You didn't say the magic word.
Now there is a Hulk King in the comics, but I think this is clearly a nod to the leader, but not necessarily the leader. I think the actual Hulk King will be Todd, who works underneath the leader, because we're getting ready for Captain America New World Order as is. To create an account, Nikki deduces you need to come off as some type of guy using the account, some horrible kind of guy. So she gives herself a username, She-Hulk Sucks 000. Her first name is anonymous, last name a bit, LOL no. The city is the internet and the country is Norway. The interests are Bigfoots, Bitcoin USA, exercise, protein, and UFOs. I'm into 2 of those things. Try to guess what it is. Their bio basically says I'm into hunting, cryptocurrency, and some incel nonsense. You get the idea. This is just a woman-hating macho man waving himbo lambo. Lambo. Behind the account sign up, we can see we're on the cancel She-Hulk page. So if you're making a new post, it better be about canceling She-Hulk. And an ad for Pixel Plan Cloud. There's already some lame post posted 3 hours ago about if she were a man, she'd be canceled already. The top trending channels in the last 24 hours are She-Hulk at number 1, images, heroes, movies, and memes, of course. This site is like a manhole Reddit, and these reactions are dark. I'm not even gonna get into them because they're just too dark and I don't want to give them time of day. Before you're like, this is too much, it's not realistic. I just want to remind everyone, this is sort of basic human reaction internet trolls have to change. Example A, our live action Little Mermaid. They're reacting the exact same way. So it's not too much.
Yes,
like I mentioned earlier, the intelligentsia just wanted to amass all knowledge and send it between villains. So a heightened version of that for the MCU would translate to something probably this dark, like the dark Reddit. Currently, Jen is on a date with Josh. I don't know what's with Jen and getting fries, but maybe it's a good sign that these fries aren't to go like they were for Arthur, because you know he turned out to be a butthole. Either way, Jen's enjoying her little plate with Josh, and I'm suspicious of every man on the show now. I think he could be a plant, and maybe Todd and some of the other men that went on dates with She-Hulk talk, and they're basically building the right man for her. I'd hate this, and I hope I'm wrong, but I just can't trust him right now. We see the Hulk King message to one of the lab computers that's diagnosing Jen's gamma range, her macro blood levels. We also get another A113 Pixar reference like in episode 3. These look exactly like the same information from the lab when Bruce was working on Jen, but as you can see, this is all Jen Walters records. Nothing saying She-Hulk here. When I compared it to the screen in episode 1, her gamma is shooting up on Bruce's screen opposed to this one, but they can see her currently on a date with Josh, so they're tracking her by satellite. Also, we get the names and the credits for the lab workers, Sean Goulding and Justin Randall Brooke, who sort of look like the guy right in the trailer with Leapfrog, but I could be mistaken. We see the broken syringe the Wrecking Crew tried to use. Now, we don't necessarily know if this new syringe is vibranium. Shoot, it could even be adamantium. Adamantium? Yours sounds better. They mentioned vibranium with Todd.
Yeah, my skin is impenetrable, at least with anything on Earth.
Even vibranium?
Why, do you have some on you? You want to test it out?
But it could literally be anything. They could be just doing trial and error. We get new courtroom illustrations, the gang from the wedding, and series of different photo booth photos. Ched kissing the bride, Lulu in one. Titania getting her veneers fixed up. She's probably vlogging it. The 20-second direct eye contact and apology to Amy. That's everything I spotted in episode 6 of She-Hulk. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Lulu_Clemens. Follow New Rockstars. Subscribe to New Rockstars for more breakdowns of everything you love. Thanks for watching. Someone bring me Jonathan! Jonathan?
What about the groom?
I know, there's
Jonathan
no groom.
be damned, there was no groom. Yeah, that whole wedding was way messed up. Like, what wedding happens with the events in that order?
Right.
And what wedding is everybody there dancing without the bride?
Right.
Just and weird. And we never see the groom, not even one time. Yeah, super
a fake wedding.
Yeah,
perhaps.
super weird. What was your favorite detail that we got?
Jen?
No, just from the show.
From the show.
the guy, the guy had so many wives, and he was trying to
Mr. Immortal.
And
Yeah.
he said he's good. He Mr. Good Guy.
Yeah,
That's what he said, right?
he said, I'm a good guy.
I'm a good guy, but he's
nobody,
not a good
nobody
guy.
who
I
ever
knew
has to
he was-
say I'm a good guy actually is
No, never.
a good guy. Yeah, once again, I like the connection to the comic panels and seeing little bits of the storylines that these things might be connected to or based on. I liked the breakdown of the images in the lab at the end. That was cool.
That was
'cause
cool. Yeah.
I didn't really get a chance to look at that very closely.
And the intelligentsia,
Yeah.
it gives us a little bit of, you know,
Right.
that's coming up. It's
Yeah.
gonna be all this people are.
Yeah, I knew the intelligentsia was a group of bad guys, but I didn't really know exactly who they were. But they told us who they
Right.
make up in the comics, so we can look out for some of those people.
Right.
Anyway, lots of fun because nobody can ever get all the details, and they do such a good
Great job. And
of-
it goes by so fast.
Yeah, they do such a good job of picking everything out, making all the connections that the showrunners really are intending. So hats off to new Rockstars and the great work that they do. Thanks all of you guys for hanging out with us and following along with our She-Hulk reactions. I assume that you did. If you haven't though, we'll have links to those episodes in the description below. And if you haven't already subscribed to New Rockstars, you should go immediately and do that because they have 10 times as many much content on their site than we show here,
Exactly.
and it's amazing stuff.
Well, thank you again for your love and support to our channel, and see you in the next video.
Next video.